Good day and welcome to the fourth round in the Full Throttle Racing Tier 2 racing season. Currently start off in Q1. The drivers have about 20 minutes to set a lap and secure their positions into the next qualifying session. Only the top 15 will progress to the next round. Very exciting few races so far, and Russia will be looking to follow suit and keep us entertained as all these drivers look to improve their positioning in the championship. Very competitive, very quick grid we have, and a few drivers wanting to maintain their momentum from Monaco, having brilliant races, some great strategy being shown there, as well as a few drivers maybe wanting to have a comeback and show what they're made of. We'll just stay on board here with Killer 94J in the McLaren as he goes around and gives us our first laps of Russia, the Russian Grand Prix. Just to take you through our drivers' standings, we currently have Sadistic King B first in the Williams on 38 points. He will be looking to stretch that lead ahead with a good consistent race, and he would want to stay out of trouble for sure. He has Big Ben with 32 points in the AlphaTauri, right on his gearbox in the standings. Very interesting analogy. Big Ben not having the best of luck throughout his races, but some great pace being shown, some great potential, and he'll be looking to get ahead of Sadistic and take the lead in the championship. Third, Liverpool fan in the Haas on 31. Craigo in the Mercedes, fourth. Jack FRS, fifth. Saki 26 in sixth. Jay Hartnell in seventh. Captain Infinity eighth. Very ninth. And to round off our top 10 is Ja Williams in 10th in the Red Bull. We have our top 5 currently being split by, as I quickly do maths here, about 14 points. Very, very tight grid. Big balls in the Alfa Romeo, setting a 132.8 at the moment. A good banker lap from him. Let's get some information on the screen for you guys and see what tires they are using. We have Saki Bene, Big Balls, and Big Ben, and Anthony Stan in the Ferrari, all going out on softs with the likes of Bate 1990 in the Alfa Romeo on the mediums. Let us go on board with the Racing Point. It's currently on his lap. See if we can go on board with him as he takes us around and get you guys a little bit more familiar. If this isn't his... Yes, this is his hot lap. We'll stay on board as he allows us to become a little bit more familiar with the track. Just while he goes around, quite interesting information about Russia. It's quite hard to believe that the upcoming, or not upcoming, the current Grand Prix now in Russia has, this is its 7th consecutive year, which is really hard to believe. This track really feels brand new, and yet it's been with us already for 7 years, majority of the hybrid era, if not the entire hybrid era. Mercedes has seen has won all 6 Russian Grand Prix to date. Lewis Hamilton has won 4, while Valtteri Bottas and Nico Rosberg having a single victory respectively. Ferrari are the only other team other than Mercedes to have taken pole at Sochi Autodrome. Here in Russia, Sebastian Vettel did so in 2017, while Charles Leclerc took pole for the team in 2019. DDoS perhaps getting in the way of Captain Infinity's hot lap. The South African driver, new to the new to the season, new to league racing, will be looking to set a good lap, having a little bit of hard luck. Both Ferraris having a little bit of hard luck in the races. Anthony Stan up in 6th at the moment. A little bit of argy-bargy from the drivers at the moment. Don't believe they will allow it to affect them too much. As we go on board with the Ferrari driver. As drivers look to find a little bit of space. The Ferrari driver backing out. Both Renaults quite close together, perhaps looking to get in each other's slipstream and capitalize on Sochi's extremely quick circuit. Quite a few straights. Sochi is the fourth longest circuit behind Spa, Francorchamps, Silverstone and Baku, I believe. Some incredible straights. This track is not entirely a street circuit. Half of it is used in daily life here in Russia. Just some fun facts for you. But as we know from previous races, street tracks are quite abrasive to these Pirelli tires, so drivers will be mindful of that. Maybe looking to go on a harder compound, maybe going for a one-stop, which has been quicker in previous Grand Prix, although a two-stop is very much possible. Warrior Huntsman in the Renault on soft tires. Let's see where he is in the standings. Warrior Huntsman currently in 18th, yet to score a point. His teammate in the Renault, Saki, with 23 points. Warrior Huntsman will be looking to get at least 1 point on the board as he gets a purple sector 2. This is a great start from him. Some great improvement from the Renault driver. He'll be wanting to get through this very slow section as it goes up and down. Very easy to lose traction on the slight gradient. Last two corners of sector 3. It's another right-hander. Very easy to lose the back and lose 2/10 just from this one corner. Warrior Huntsman going into 11th. Definitely some time for improvement. He only needs to be in the top 15. We should only see the bottom 3 drivers be relegated here. Liverpool fan, Captain Infinity, Jay Hartnell now in the relegation zone with the likes of, well, at the moment I should say, Warrior Huntsman, Killer, 94J in the McLaren, Bates in the Alfa Romeo, Harvey and DDoS now in danger of being relegated. Well, not relegated, but eliminated, I should say. Let us see. We have a few drivers looking to set their first laps. Let's go on board with Harvey here on his out lap. This will be his first lap of the day. We'll go on board just so you can get an idea of how long the straight really is. Mixing up your exits on the last corner can prove detrimental in the long run, as that to make up that time will be nearly impossible. Drivers will be wanting to be very smooth, very clean, slow in, fast out, and smooth on the power, as we've all heard here in F1, and all these drivers will be familiar. A lot of blind corners, very easy to miss your braking marker and perhaps exceed the track limits. Drivers will be wanting to avoid any sort of extension of the track limits, as after 3 warnings drivers will receive a 3-second penalty, and at the end of the day we do not want drivers having to lose positions due to penalties. Harvey in the Red Bull getting a purple sector 2, looking to get himself out of the bottom elimination zone. It's a great middle sector from him. It should prove to be a very good lap. His first lap of the day, I should say. It's a great start from him. With Liverpool fan in the Haas, yet the only driver yet to set a time. That's Harvey only going 13th out of the elimination zone, but not Liverpool fan. Wow, that Liverpool fan has received a 5-place grid penalty for the collision with Harvey. And Warrior Huntsman also retiring. This should see some drivers should benefit from this. Very outrageous driving we've already seen just here in the first qualifying. A Liverpool fan perhaps not looking in his mirrors, perhaps looking at his MFD, not aware of the driver behind him, and Harvey perhaps not paying attention or on the radio to Jeff, colliding into the back of Liverpool fan. There will definitely be a steward's inquiry in that one, with Liverpool fan likely to see the negative side of that, as he holds the responsibility to watch for the drivers behind. Quite a few drivers already retiring. Liverpool fan it's still possible for him to set a time. So very interesting to see a few of these drivers already retiring. Both Renaults retiring, but they are both in the danger zone at the moment. It's got Liverpool perhaps getting some damage. He can still set a lap time here, as the 5-second grid penalty will only reflect at the end of the session. A little bit of jumping here in the pits. Hopefully Liverpool fan does set a lap. I hope that he is aware that he is allowed to set a lap. Warrior Huntsman, Harvey and Saki Bene already retiring from the session, happy with their laps, but very risky conditions indeed. The likes of Jack FRS, Bait 1990 and DDoS, definitely unnecessary to set a lap at this time, as they are already qualifying ahead of the 3 retirees. They'll be looking to want to save their tires for the next sessions, as one can go through your soft compound tires very quickly, as well as having an extra set in the race. We'll only see these drivers benefit. Very interesting to see a few of these drivers setting laps. Bait on his out lap, perhaps using this opportunity to get his eye in and warm up his driving. Every single lap that these drivers take, will see them improve as they work off the rust, I should say, from the small break we've had in the week, and then continue to get faster and faster. Each lap, these drivers will become a little bit more comfortable with the track, although I'm sure they've been practicing. A little bit more practice before the race wouldn't hurt. As we see a Red Bull currently going out, as we do see Liverpool coming out, backing off to allow the Red Bull through. Stay on board with this Red Bull, and then we will go on board with Liverpool to see if he improves. Killer J coming around the final sector. Will he be able to improve and get himself out of the elimination zone? Already on 2-lap old softs, perhaps not having the cleanest first lap. He'll be looking to improve on the second lap. We'll jump back on board with the Red Bull, who will be our next car over the line. Williams having some brilliant racing in the previous races, giving myself, the commentator here, a hard time having to keep up with all the action that the Red Bulls provide. Williams, a very competitive driver, taking a purple sector 2 here in Q1. Some great pace at the moment. Not currently in the elimination zone, but he does have a set of soft tires to spare. and maybe measure his pace and see where he is amongst the rest of the grid. Very competitive driver, as I was saying. Do expect him to be up there in the podium contention, as he does take third quickest here in Q1. A brilliant lap from him. We will not see him start in third, as there are another 2 qualifying sessions. Just to make you at home aware, if perhaps you're unfamiliar. Let's now go on board with who is out. Bates coming across the line. Killer J does look like he was unable to improve on his lap, and unfortunately he will be one of our retirees at the moment. Liverpool fan out on his lap. Let's go on board with him. He'll be looking to improve. Currently yet to set a lap. Kenny in the Williams as well, not yet to set a lap. But Liverpool fan, a very quick driver as well. A very competitive grid all round. Liverpool fan will be wanting to get himself out of that elimination zone, already with a 5-second grid penalty for an incident with Harvey in the Red Bull. Seeing Harvey retire. Harvey, I'm not too sure if Harvey's mechanics will be able to fix that issue before the next session. As we are on board here with Liverpool, let's see if he can get himself out of the elimination zone. He needs to beat a 134, as he does, and he goes 10th. This will see a little bit of slow driving from Williams in the Red Bull. That is the AI driving, with as well as seeing Kenny come out. I did believe it did say that this was AI. The AI is acting a little bit interesting today, going out on track. With the qualifying session now complete, we do see Warrior Huntsman in the Red Bull, not the Red Bull, the Renault I should say, with a very early session retirement, now paying the price, being knocked out of qualifying, as well as DDoS, Warrior Huntsman, Killer 94J and Kenny all being knocked out of the first qualifying session. Very interesting to see. Kenny perhaps joining us late, unable to set a time, and a few other drivers retiring quite early. A little bit confusing, as there were 3 drivers a little bit confusing to see the grid here. We'll see at the end and see what our leaderboard is looking like. I will provide you with information. It's quite interesting to see here. I'm not 100% sure, but after the first qualifying session here in Russia, we do see both Renaults of Saki Bene and Warrior Huntsman both eliminated. Harvey in the Red Bull, DDoS in the Ferrari, Killer 94J in the McLaren, and Kenny in the Williams. Still quite a long race ahead. These drivers will not let this bother them too much, as a long they will be able to start on fresh set of soft, medium or hard compound tires. Perhaps starting on the hards at the beginning of the race and capitalizing on any safety cars that we may see. A little bit of incidents just here in the first qualifying session. Very possible to see some interesting events occur in the next qualifying sessions as well as the race. Only 13 drivers into the next session. I do believe it's supposed to be the top 15, although we only had 19 drivers. I'm not entirely sure. Our Q2 does consist of Jack, FRS, Big Balls, Bait, It's Jake, Liverpool Fan, Williams, Shadow Moody, Big Ben, Anthony Stan, Craigo, Captain Infinity, Sadistic King, and Jay Hartnell. A few of the teams having both cars into the next session, looking to score some much valuable points in the constructor standing. The constructor standings are the points that both drivers have contributed to the team. Let me take you through the constructor standings. Currently first is Williams with 63 points, Racing Point with 42 points, not too far behind. Currently both Racing Points in Q2 with only one Williams present. Haas third with 37 points, Mercedes fourth, AlphaTauri fifth, Renault sixth, both Renaults being knocked out of the first session. Not the beginning they would have wanted in terms of scoring points for the French team. Red Bull in 7th, Ferrari 8th, Alfa Romeo 9th, and McLaren 10th with only a single point. No McLaren able to qualify here or make it through to the next round. Quite a few drivers as well as the teams will be looking to have a quick start and perhaps play the long game. Both Alfa Romeo currently sitting in 9th with 12 points, but both Alfa Romeos able to qualify here into Q2. Alfa Romeos not having the best of luck in the previous rounds, but like I said, this is a very competitive grid, a lot of quick drivers, and anyone is able to win here. But right now let's focus on Q2. We should see the top 10 see promotion to the final qualifying session. The interesting thing about Q2 or qualifying, the second qualifying session, is that the drivers in the session will be forced to start the race on the tire that they set their quickest laps on. So we should see the Alfa Romeo here, if he the Alfa Romeo of Big Balls here, if he is unable to improve on his lap time, he will indeed have to start on the medium compound tire. Very interesting, as the Ferrari of Anthony Stan right on the back of the Alfa Romeo, perhaps trying to capitalize on some slipstream. Alfa Romeo not having any of that, allowing the Ferrari through. As we go on board with the Ferrari, see what he's able to do. He did sit in the slipstream for a while and would have seen a little bit of benefit, running a little bit wide into the entrance to Sector 3, getting a purple Sector 2. Quite a good lap. He will be the first car to set a lap here in Q2, setting his time on the soft compound tires, having a little bit of connection issues, it looks like, bouncing all around. I can assure you this is not him, but his internet connection. He has set a 133 flat, and that will be the time to beat, as we see a few more drivers come across the line, unable to best the Ferrari, but Big Ben only 0.08 of a second in the AlphaTauri. Shadow Moody in the AlphaTauri with an incredibly close time. Only 0.03 of a second, actually 0.02 of a second. Behind the Ferrari. Lots of time for improvements as the track heats up throughout the day, as more and more cars cross over the line. The time should be reduced with each passing lap. Alfa Romeo backing out again, going quite long on those mediums. He will want to be mindful, as he will perhaps need to use these tyres in the race. And as we've already stated, the street circuits will degrade these tyres at a very high rate, and drivers will see themselves having to deal with a lot of wheel spin and understeer as well as oversteer, making the conditions very tricky to drive in, as well as make it a little bit more interesting for us here at home. Perhaps a few incidents providing us with a safety car. Big Balls going on another lap. Let's see how many laps he's done. He's only done 2 laps, going on to his 3rd lap here. Perhaps a 4th lap, as the outlap will count as a lap on his tyre data. Williams now taking the fastest lap with a 1:32.3, an outstanding 7/10ths quicker than the Ferrari. Deciding to set his time on the softs, as well as the Ferrari, and both AlphaTauris both going for a similar strategy with one another. Craigo and Jay Hartnell in the Mercedes rather looking to set their times on the mediums, perhaps wanting to go long, play the one stop. The one stop is quicker if one can maintain their pace and keep up the tempo, with any mistakes allowing the 2 stoppers to zero in on them on those fresh compound tires. Let's go on board with the Haas, see what he will be capable of doing. Actually, let's go on board with the Williams, who's about to start his lap. Currently our championship leader at the moment, making use of that new team owner, some new funds perhaps, allowing for the Williams to develop a little bit further, as we saw Claire Williams step down after the Monza Grand Prix. No Williams family member now involved with the team, and American investors now taking over. Great driver of Sadistic here, leading the championship. A great start for them. He'll be wanting to keep up the momentum, setting a purple sector 1 on the mediums as well. It's not looking good for his competitors. If Sadistic is able to keep up this pace, he will have a very good race towards the end and throughout, barring no incidents or perhaps a safety car to throw all strategy out of the window. Only 6 drivers to have set a lap so far. We should see a little bit more of the drivers begin to come out and try and set a banker lap. A banker lap is a bit of a safety net. As we see the Ferrari having a little bit of connection issues again. Hopefully he does not cause any issues for any other driver, as we see Sadistic cross the line. And he's taken 5th position, losing a little bit of time through the slower sections. Naturally, the soft compound tires will be quicker through the sections with a little bit more cornering. That extra grip will allow you to carry more speed in and out of the corners. The mediums perhaps struggling at this stage, although a bit more durable than the softs. Sadistic only a second off the leaders on those medium compound. Not the quickest medium drive at the moment. Captain Infinity takes that role with, let's see what time he's set, a 1:33 flat, almost breaking the 1:33s on the mediums. Quite a good lap from the racing point. Soon to be Aston Martin. Very exciting times for the team. as we near the 5-minute mark, I will just run you through the grid order. As it stands with 5 minutes left in Q2, we have Williams in the Red Bull in first with a 132.3, a very good lap. About 0.6 quicker than the next rival, with Shadow Moody in the AlphaTauri. A great qualifying session from him, showing great pace in the previous races. Very promising race for him. I do recommend you keep eyes on him as he looks to make up for lost time and make up some perhaps valuable points that he's missed out on. As I say that, Anthony Stan now taking second. Let me just rerun through that. Williams in the Red Bull in first, Anthony Stan Ferrari in second, Shadow Moody third, Captain Infinity fourth, Big Ben fifth, Sadistic King sixth, Craigo seventh, Jay Hartnell eighth, It's Jake ninth, and Jack FRS 10th. Both Alfa Romeos now in the knockout or the elimination zone. Not too worrying, as I believe I saw the Alfa Romeo taking a purple sector 1 on those softs. Quite a few medium, quite a few drivers selecting the medium tires here. Very interesting indeed, as we also see a mix of soft and mediums. The strategies will mix, and we will see drivers overcutting and undercutting. Alfa Romeo now taking a purple sector 2. He's on a run for a very quick lap. Let's go on board with him and see what he can do through the tight section. A lot of time to be lost and made through this tricky sector 3. Bates in Alfa Romeo getting 4th position. That will definitely secure his position as it stands. We only have 3 drivers now. It's Jake in the Haas, Jack FRS in the Racing Point, and his teammate Big Balls in Alfa Romeo retiring from the session. He will be unable to improve on his time. Just a correction from earlier, I did say Q2 will require drivers to start on those tires, but it is only the top 10 drivers that will be required to start on the tires that they've set their laps. A little bit of error from me, I do apologize. It won't affect the racing though. Jack, a very quick driver, very consistent. Perhaps seeing a little bit of unfortunate events in the previous race. He'll be looking to want to get up in the front and fight the top guys here in the championship and fight for a podium position. He does have the potential as he gets himself into 11th. Currently in the elimination zone still as it stands. The Mercedes now in danger. Both of them now on track looking to improve, as well as Sadistic. Be very interesting to see how this all unfolds. With just over a minute left, very interesting to see that the Haas of It's Jake is currently sitting in the pits, perhaps not wanting to set a lap, as he's out of the top 10. He'll be able to start his race on a fresh set of tires, and he's possibly looking to benefit from the fresh rubber, be quite competitive in the early stages. Let's quickly go on board Jay Hartnell. He'll be looking to improve as he's currently sitting in 10th, cutting it very close with about 30 seconds left. The only real competitor at the moment will be Jack FRS, who has decided to enter the pit lane. due to Jack's pitting and deciding not to exit or to set another lap, as Sadistic sets a 132 flat. It won't mean too much though, as only the top 10 will go through. Our top 10 now, currently as it stands, moving into Q3, it will be Sadistic King B in the Williams with 132 flat, 3/10 quicker than his nearest rival here in Q2. Williams in the Red Bull with a 132.3. Liverpool fan with a 5-place grid penalty for an incident earlier in Q3. If you've missed it, Anthony Stanford in 4th, Shadow Moody 5th. Very, very promising race from him. It's good to see him up there in contention with the front guys. Bate in Alfa Romeo 6th, looking to capitalize on some big points as his teammate is knocked out. Captain Infinity 7th in the Racing Point. He too qualifying on the mediums, our first medium compound driver. His teammate not making it through to the next round. Big Ben in AlphaTauri on the softs. AlphaTauri with quite good pace here in Russia. It'll be interesting to see how the teams play out in terms of strategy with one another, perhaps a multi-21. Craigo rounding up our top 10 in the Mercedes, cutting it quite close, sitting in 10th for quite a while, but he will not complain too much as he does see himself move into Q3. As we wait for the remaining cars just to finish going around, I will see you in Q3. And we begin Q3 with just over 11 minutes of the session. Drivers will be looking to get out there soon, set those bank laps, allow themselves to have a bit of a safety net and improve on those lap times. We should see drivers set about 2 fast laps. These tires will not be required, these drivers will not be required to start on these tires, so we should see these drivers push a little bit more to the edge, perhaps get their foot on the throttle a little sooner, burning up these tires but maximizing their grid position. Very interesting top 10 as it stands. All of these drivers in contention in the Drivers' Championship. We have our top 3 in the championship, top 4, our top 4 in the championship all making into Q3. Unfortunately, both Renaults were lost in Q3. I mean Q1, I should say, apologies. With a few newcomers here, with Shadow Moody. I don't believe Shadow Moody has made it into Q3 in the previous race. Some great pace being shown by him. Very exciting race indeed. I'm excited to bring you some commentary. Everyone out on soft. Anthony Stan, our first driver out. A little bit laggy as we've seen throughout the qualifying. Let's keep an eye on him. See what kind of time he'll be able to set. All the drivers behind him will be looking at his time and trying to beat it. Let's see where the Ferrari sets the icebreaker. Very interesting to see Big Ben going on to the mediums. I don't believe it's very necessary, but perhaps using an extra set of soft tires in Q2 and now being forced to use his medium tires in Q3 to set his banker lap. The medium tire will definitely not be the quickest tire in this session, as we will most likely see all the drivers set their times on the softs. Very interesting to see the Ferrari not utilizing any ERS. His lap time will be much slower, but perhaps waiting to use all that ERS in his second lap. Ferrari driver perhaps wanting to sandbag a little bit and not reveal all his cards as he sets his first lap. Very confused to see him not set a lap, as he was our first driver through. Krager setting the initial time with a 1:31.5. A very good lap from these drivers so far. Captain Infinity in the Racing Point only 4/10 off the Mercedes. Williams in the Red Bull with a 1:32.2. Finishing off the Mercedes sandwich of Jay Hartnell in 4th with a 1:33 flat. Let us see where our first AlphaTauri will be set. Very excited to see where our AlphaTauri drivers will come out. Very competitive drivers here in the Italian team, previously known as Toro Rosso, and still known as Toro Rosso around some parts of the paddock. The Mercedes right on the back of this AlphaTauri, perhaps benefiting from slipstream here. Both of them DRS open. Craig already ahead, deciding to rather back off. Let's actually go on board with Shadow Moody here. Quite a bit of wheel spin coming out of the second last corner, as the AlphaTauri driver almost losing the back end and putting himself in the wall. Very interesting to see these drivers not setting laps, as they have already completed a lap, I do believe. Oh no, actually that's a mistake on me. I'm actually mixing up the two AlphaTauri drivers. Big Ben now on his lap on the mediums to see what kind of damage he can do. I don't expect him to be as quick as the soft compound drivers, but he sees himself put in 6th position, about a second off the next soft compound tire driver, the last of the drivers to set a lap time. He'll definitely be wanting to improve, knowing fully well that his next set on the softs will see him perhaps move up a few positions. Anthony Stan, 2 laps on the softs. I don't believe he is setting a time. This may be his in lap. Should go on board. Is this Shadow Moody now coming across the line? Let's see what kind of time he can set. Apologies. Besting his teammate, going 6th with a 133.6, about 6/10 off the next driver, only about 4/10 quicker than his teammate on the mediums. A lot of drivers perhaps leaving time on the table for their second run. With under 5 minutes left, we should see the drivers start coming out now to improve on their laps. Liverpool leaving it quite late, perhaps only wanting to do one quick lap and get himself in the pit, saving those tyres for the race. A little bit of information for you: drivers starting from 2nd and 4th in the Russian Grand Prix have never failed to score points in the race. Quite an interesting fact. Perhaps some of these drivers looking to capitalize on that, as we do see a placement on the grid does differentiate. We've seen this rule change quite a few years ago, with Ayrton Senna being one of the advocates for this, as he did see himself lose out to his teammate Prost simply because he was on the wrong side of the grid after qualifying first, starting on the dirty side of the track. The previous rule was that you would have to start on the inside, as you would have the inside lane for the inside track position for the first corner, but that would require you to start on the dirty side of the track, which has a lot of dust and marbles, as it's referred to in racing. Marbles will just be a little bit of rubber from the tires and a little bit of like debris and just things that you wouldn't want making contact with your tires, as it'll just cause your tires to lose that maximum potential, that maximum grip. But now in modern F1 we do see pole position starting from the best possible position, whether it be on the outside or inside, most likely on the more grippy side, the cleaner side of the track. So perhaps that fact of 2nd and 4th both starting on the dirty side of the track, both seeing a benefit. I do believe that is the inside lane here in Sochi. It is a very long run, and starting from the inside will allow the drivers to have the inside line going into turn 2 after the very long straight. So perhaps starting on the inside will be beneficial for these drivers, but I don't think these drivers would have put much thought into that. They'll just be looking to capitalize on the best position as possible. With just under 2 minutes left, we do see almost everyone out on track, with only the likes of Big Ben in the AlphaTauri in the pits at the moment. I don't believe he will be able to set a time. I don't believe Big Ben is looking to improve on his time. I think he's happy on his mediums, starting in 10th. but we will see our first driver to improve will be the horse of Liverpool, or the last I should say, as he looks to start his lap. Our first driver may be Bate deciding to enter the pits, perhaps save his soft compound tyres. Craigo looking to improve, taking the fastest lap of a 131.3, 6 tenths quicker than second place Captain Infinity in the Racing Point. See where Jay Williams currently in second with a 131.7. Good lap from the Red Bull driver. Let's see if Shadow Moody is able to improve. Currently on his out lap. Sadistic also entering the pits. A lot of drivers deciding to perhaps save their tires for the race and not fight for those few positions. Perhaps looking to start on the inside lane. Sadistic currently sits in fourth. Only 5 drivers out now on the track at the moment. The few retirees, as we do see the time of Q3 come to a halt. We will have a little bit of extra time to see drivers complete their laps. Let's get on board with, I do believe it's Williams who is on his flying lap. Craig already setting his time. Williams, I believe, is on his in lap himself. I don't believe Williams will be looking to improve, but let's stay on board anyway. Craigo crossing the line, unable to improve on his time. Williams entering the pits, making our next driver Shadow Moody, currently in 8th position with a 133.6, running a little bit narrow and consequently running deep into that second corner. It's going to cost him quite a bit of time, but will Shadow Moody be able to improve from 8th position? Running a little bit narrow into the final corner, he does improve and does get 7th position, besting Bate in the Alfa Romeo. Behind him, Jay Hartnell, Captain Infinity, not setting his lap. Jay Hartnell looking to improve with his 133 flat, perhaps wanting to break into the 132s, depleting all his ERS. Jay Hartnell taking 6th. Captain Infinity entering the pits. Very interesting qualifying so far. Very competitive grid, as you can see. Craigo and Williams and Captain Infinity, our top 3, all getting 131s, with Sadistic just missing out on the 131 mark with a 132 flat. And then a little bit of a gap to the Ferrari of Anthony Stan. Jay Hartnell, I will run you through the grid order at the end of the session. Very, very interesting indeed. Do not let these times fool you, as there are drivers outside of this top 10 that could be in contention for some good points and a podium. To run you through our grid order of the top 10 in Q3, Craigo in the Mercedes in first, a good start for Mercedes. Williams second in the Red Bull, Captain Infinity third in the Racing Point. Sadistic King, our championship leader, in the Williams fourth. He'll be unhappy with that. His fellow Scotsman Anthony Stan in the Ferrari taking fifth. Jay Hartnell sixth. He'll be wanting to improve and perhaps get himself up into the front row with his teammate. Shadow Moody, a very, very promising drive from him, starting 7th. A lot of improvement. He has definitely been practicing in the AlphaTauri. Bate and Alfa Romeo, they'll be wanting to get some good valuable points at 8th. Big Ben 9th. And to round off our top 10, Liverpool fan in 10th. He will see a 5-place grid penalty, which will see a few drivers move up the field. I do apologize. I've actually been commentating with my mic on mute. I do apologize for that. A lot of action, as we do see Kenny taking a lot of damage in the Williams right at the back, hitting the wall right off the start. The racing point of Captain Infinity, I do believe it was Captain Infinity. Let's actually see if we can get a better onboard and see if he has lost a little bit of his end plate. No, his wing is absolutely fine. Both racing points having their wings absolutely correct. Let me just quickly recap what I was saying. I do apologize for that. Very, very annoying. As we do see Jay Hart now into the pits. Perhaps maybe he was the one who has lost a little bit of his wing. Collecting a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as he does change his wing. I do believe he saw some damage. But as I was saying, we see Williams in the Red Bull and Sadistic in the Williams, both making up a position, proving our theory right from earlier of starting second and fourth or starting on the inside line being a lot more beneficial. As we see Captain Infinity losing out to the top 3. Bates making up 3 positions for Alfa Romeo. Very good start from them. They'll be looking to capitalize on some big points. Jack FRS making up 4 positions. Perhaps not happy with his qualifying. He'll be wanting to catch up to his teammate and say, so can I. And perhaps both racing points can make up some good points. Big Ben in AlphaTauri 7th. Making up 2 positions. A good start from him. I do believe he started on the mediums. All this time spent behind the safety car will see him benefit, as the closer the front runners are to him, the less work he will have to do towards the end. Harvey 8th, making up 6 positions. A brilliant start from him in the Red Bull, as followed by DDoS in the Ferrari, being eliminated in the first qualifying. Not the best qualifying from him. He would have been kicking himself, but now currently sitting in 9th on the mediums. He will be looking to make up a few more positions. Shadow Moody losing out 3 positions, our biggest loser of the front runners so far. Losing out 3 positions, but he's still currently in the top 10. Liverpool fan with that 5-second grid 5-place grid penalty, already making up 4 places. Not really seeing the brunt of that penalty. I do believe, is the safety car coming in? I do believe the safety car is coming in. The safety car is coming in this lap. Quite a few drivers missing out. Anthony Stanton Ferrari losing 11 positions, as well as Jay Hartnell losing 13 positions himself. The Red Bull looking to have a very good start. I believe he jumped the gun a little bit, having everyone slow down. Let's quickly get a sky cam and see what he can do. He'll be wanting to get a very good exit off that final corner. Craigo with the Williams of Sadistic, our championship leader, right on the back of that Mercedes. Let's quickly go on board and see what the Williams will be able to do. Nothing, it looks like, for this lap. I don't believe we've seen any position changes right now. Anthony Stan, I believe, has made up a position already. Jay Williams in the Red Bull already pulling a 1.4 second lead on those softs. I do believe Craigo is on the mediums. The medium copper tires will be going a little bit longer. The medium combat tires will be able to go a little bit longer, but they are a little bit slower than the soft compound tire. Williams will be wanting to maximize his time and pull a big enough gap. He's already doing a very good job getting himself out of the DRS zone. Sadistic right on the back, as we see the The Alfa Romeo of Bait 1990 hitting his wing on the wall, losing his end plate. That's going to cost him a lot of time. He'll be wanting to get into the pits and fix that wing as soon as possible. Let's quickly go on board with Sadistic here, right on the back of the Mercedes. Is he close enough to make a move? I do not believe so. As Big Ben looking up the inside of the Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo will be struggling with that damage to his front wing. DDoS now to the inside of the Red Bull of Harvey. Harvey will have track position for the inside line. He does run a little bit wide. DDoS will be wanting to capitalize here. Drivers will also be wanting to be patient as there's only 5 laps completed. Still a very long race. The last thing drivers will want is to lose their front wings, which is going to cost him time. We see our first retirement of the day. Saki Bene, I believe, putting himself in the wall, it looks like. This will bring us to our second safety car. A little bit of time for us to breathe as there's plenty of action to go around. As we near the completion of lap 5, our top 10 looks like Jay Williams in the Red Bull in first, Craigo 82 in the Mercedes in second, Sadistic King B third in the Williams, Captain Infinity fourth, his teammate in the Racing Point Jack FRS fifth, Bait 1990 in sixth, Big Ben seventh, Harvey eighth, DDoS in the Ferrari ninth, Liverpool with his 5-place grid penalty not holding him back at all. Liverpool in 10th, Kenny in the Williams 11th, having a very good start with not the best of qualifying. I do believe he was out in Q1. Shadow Moody 12th, not having the best start for him. He'll be wanting to improve. Killer 94J, our first McLaren and our only McLaren of the session, as drivers now change position in the pits. Quite a few drivers deciding to pit. Sadistic, one of them. See what kind of compound tire he selects to go on the hards. He will be going towards the end, I do believe, barring any rain. Our soft compound tire drivers deciding to stay out. I do not believe that might be the best, as the medium compound tires will be benefiting from this. The soft compound tires not being allowed or not being able to extend a lead will just see themselves lose out when they do pit, putting themselves a little bit under pressure. Our second safety car of the race. As we see the grid bunch up a little bit, I do believe the safety car may do one more additional lap just to allow those few drivers at the back to make up that time and catch up. It does look like the safety car will be completing one more additional lap. These drivers will be wanting to maintain as much heat in those tires as possible. So we do see a few more drivers deciding to pit. Williams currently sitting in first, but he is now on soft compound tires. I do believe he will be losing out quite a bit now, because those soft tires will be soon. They will still soon be on their last legs. Let's quickly see what the tire situation does look like. Kenny on the hards, currently sitting in fifth, currently in a very good position. Perhaps putting for softs right at the end. I do apologize for that. Kenny perhaps going very towards the end and selecting on the softs. This could be a very strong strategy for him. I do recommend you keep your eyes out for the Williams driver. as this may work out into his favor. Craigo and Infinity both on mediums. They too will be looking to go maybe an additional 6 laps. Maybe around lap 12 to lap 15 we should see them enter the pits. Williams on those softs, as well as Jack and Killer 94J, deciding to go a little bit long. I don't know if that will benefit them in the long run. Very interesting, very interesting. I did tell you that the strategies will come into play, with the majority of the grid selecting the mediums, with Big Ben in 10th, currently on a fresh set of mediums, Sadistic on a fresh set of hards. Only 2 hard compound tire drivers, both the Williams in fact. Perhaps some practice has been put in the Williams camp, and they have a strategy for this very situation. Let us see what the position change looks like at this current time. Kenny making up 14 positions. So brilliant from him. As well as Killer 94J, our only McLaren on the grid, looking to carry the team on his shoulders, making up 12 positions, as I do believe the safety car is coming in this lap. Quite a few drivers will be wanting to make up some time, and Williams will be wanting to capitalize on this, or wanting to replicate his initial start, perhaps learning from his mistake of jumping the gun. As we see the drivers weave a little bit to get some pace, some heat into those tires. Red Bull running very, very wide. It's going to compromise his line and allow the drivers behind him to get right up on the back of him. He does have a little bit of a gap. He is still on the soft tires, and I do believe the soft tires, as we see a lot of action towards the back. Sadistic being the big loser, as well as the AlphaTauri of Big Ben, perhaps seeing them collide, as we do see one of them losing their wing. This is a very, very bad start. AlphaTauri losing almost half of his front wing there. So we see a little bit of action from the front here. The Red Bull making up a position. I mean the Ferrari making up a position, I should say. Quite a few drivers capitalizing from this restart. As we quickly go to the front, our championship leader now having to pit for a wing change, perhaps missing out. He'll be looking to work for the rest of the race. Quickly get the right settings here so I can bring you some information. Captain Infinity right on the back of the Mercedes at the moment, running a little bit deep, almost running to the back of the Mercedes. He's going to compromise his exit and allow his teammate Jack FRS to get right up on the gearbox. They will not be wanting to fight too much. They are now holding each other up, losing a little bit of time to the front runners. So the last thing they would have wanted, backing the grid up. As we see another position change of Warrior Huntsman overtaking It's Jake in the Haas. Let's quickly jump back on our leaders. Craigo is still a little bit far back from our leader. So we see a little bit of gap starting to open up. The McLaren looking up the inside of Kenny. Kenny not being able to do too much there, as he is on the hard compound tire. Anthony Stan also capitalizing from that overtake on the mediums. Kenny will be losing quite a bit of time, as we do see the Ferrari having a very, very poor exit, allowing the Williams to have a look up the outside. Will he make it stick? The Williams driver making it stick. A brilliant overtake. The Ferrari driver being a little bit laggy. I hope it will not cause too many issues for the drivers around him. Kenny perhaps getting a little bit frustrated with this lag. A little bit unfortunate for both drivers involved. As we look to see if there is any more potential overtakes. Not currently, as we see a little bit of more gaps being opened up. Kenny looking up the inside, the Ferrari closing the gap here. Very, very interesting to see Not entirely sure if there'll be a Stewards inquiry about this. Very unfortunate. We see our second retirement of a horse. It's Jake, causing a virtual safety car, allowing us to breathe for a little bit. Kenny in the Williams deciding to perhaps pit as he sees himself losing quite a bit of time. Perhaps seeing himself having a little bit of wing damage perhaps. We see the Red Bull also looking to make a pit stop. Jay Williams going onto the mediums, it looks like. Will this Williams driver have a wing change? No wing change, no damage for the Williams driver. That's fine. He's going to be capitalizing, going onto a medium compound tire. Let's see where our drivers are now. Both racing points now in second and third provisionally. Good, great start from them. Some great points up for grabs, with the likes of the McLaren of Killer 94J making up 14 positions as we are underway once again. Will there be any opportunities for position change? Just quickly go to the back here, as these drivers all seem to be very, very close to one another. Liverpool fan on the back of DDoS here in the Ferrari, as the Ferrari chases down Shadow Moody in the Alpha Tauri, looking to get those point finishing positions. Let's quickly jump back on board with our racing points here in the front. Currently Jack on the softs, sitting behind his teammate who's on the medium compound tire. He'll be very frustrated as the soft tire is the faster compound at this time. The softs are doing 10 laps, as we do see our first pit window being opened up for the medium compound tire drivers. We should see the likes of Craigo, Captain Infinity, Jack, FRS. The majority of our front runners should start pitting right about now, as the racing point has a very, very interesting dive. The camera angle is atrocious for that. Jack missing out, going for a very, very late dive bomb on his teammate, perhaps being a little bit silly, but now allowing the McLaren of Killer 94J to be right on the back of him. Killer 94J wanting to get up into that podium contention position. As we do believe we should see some position changes in the pit stops, but let's quickly jump on board with this group at the back. Very, very tight. Who's at the back of this? DDoS at the back of this group. He'll be wanting to stay in that DRS zone. Some very, very quick drivers, even fighting for 10th position. Some very, very quick drivers all throughout the grid. The Alfa Romeo of Big Balls now currently sitting in 10th position. He'll be wanting to improve on that point scoring position. Moody within a second. DRS should be opening soon, with Shadow Moody having a very, very poor exit. He'll be missing out as he will not be having DRS, allowing for the cars behind him to capitalize. The Ferrari of DDoS at the back of this group, staying within that DRS zone. Very, very good from these drivers, as they are starting to form a little bit of a DRS train. We are starting to see a little bit of a gap form. Craigo taking about a 2.4 second lead at the moment to the racing points behind. I do believe he is on a different tire. No, he's not on a different tire. Some just outstanding pace from the Mercedes. Like I said before, Mercedes has won every single race in the 6 years that they've raced here. And Craigo is looking to uphold that tradition of bringing it home for the Silver Arrows, now in the black livery for the 2020 season. The fight for second does seem to be a little bit closer, as drivers will be suffering from a little bit of dirty air. Nice little camera angle there through the through the very slow chicane. As we see our first racing point entering the pits, Jack FRS on the softs, perhaps looking to undercut these leaders. How far behind? He wasn't too far behind his teammates. I believe he was only just over a second behind his teammates. Let's monitor to see how strong that undercut is. As we see DDoS losing a little bit of time from the drivers in front of him. Liverpool now in DRS zone of Shadow Moody, perhaps looking up the inside, deciding not to go for it. Let's quickly go on board with our championship leader, Sadistic. Only finishing sector 3 about now, not the start he would have wanted, and it does look like he's losing a little bit of time to Big Ben, who's behind him. Perhaps these drivers made a little bit of contact early in the race. Barring any Stewart's inquiry, perhaps it was a racing incident. Let's only hope so. Let's quickly jump back on board here with Liverpool, who's right on the back of Shadow Moody. Shadow Moody currently in the points, having quite an interesting qualifying session, and now having quite a good race, it looks like, scoring some good points for the AlphaTauri driver. Liverpool losing a little bit of time, not getting the best of exits to capitalize on the DRS, as we do see Kenny now making up some positions, although it is from the pits. Was Jack able to undercut? Does not look like it's Killer J actually being able to overcut the racing point by quite a bit, actually. Leading the racing point by 2.3 seconds. Very, very interesting. DDoS now closing right up on the back of Liverpool. I don't know if some overtake maneuvers were being made, allowing for the drivers to catch up. Jay Williams, our previous leader, I do believe he's on fresh. Yeah, he is on fresh mediums at the moment, or 3-lap-old mediums, closing up on this group in front of him. All these drivers will be looking to make a little bit of time, as DDoS gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. The Red Bull running very, very wide. Let's quickly go on board with the Ferrari driver. He'll be wanting to get into the DRS zone for the very long straight and get a very good exit through the last corner. Liverpool fan getting a 3-second time penalty himself. Quickly jump on board with the Haas, as he does have a much better exit this race, or this time. Not being able to make the move stick this time, as the two Alfa Romeos are now fighting right up on each other's gearboxes, or bait on the gearbox of his teammate Big Balls. Big Balls now getting a 3-second time penalty. A lot of drivers getting 3-second time penalties. As we see DDoS now looking up the inside of Liverpool, taking that 9th position. A very, very clean move, as Liverpool will be wanting to make another strong move. Liverpool struggling for a little bit of grip, running a little bit of deep. DDoS looking to have some very, very strong pace at this time in the race. He'll be wanting to get right up on the back of Shadow Moody. Let's quickly go back on board with the Alfa Romeos. Bait losing a little bit of time to his teammate Big Balls as they enter the straight. Let's actually go back to this action, as this does seem to be the closest action at the moment. Jay Williams, our previous race leader, struggling to get onto the back of the Haas of Liverpool. As I did say, this is a very, very competitive grid, and track position shouldn't mean anything, as any of these drivers can do very, very well. Our championship leader suggests they're currently sitting in 15th at the moment. Having an incident just after the just after the safety car, I believe. Not the race he would have wanted, but a lot of good drivers throughout this entire grid, and a lot of action still to form with just over halfway. The Red Bull now looking up the inside of the Haas driver. Liverpool fan now losing quite a bit of time. I wonder if he has a little bit of damage. The Red Bull running very, very wide, allowing Liverpool in the Haas to overtake him again. A lot of wheel spin. Perhaps a little bit of frustration being shown from the Red Bull driver. DDoS now within half a second of the AlphaTauri. Let's see if he can make any inroads with that DRS. Shadow Moody not in DRS zone at the moment. Shadow Moody depleting all of his ERS down the straight to maintain that gap, as DDoS gets an additional 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Not what he would want. Shadow Moody not Shadow Moody having no DRS is being forced to deplete all his ERS down the straight. All the drivers behind him, the likes of DDoS, Liverpool fan, and Jay Williams, and Kenny now on the back, will all be looking to save their ERS for the right overtaking opportunity. As we see the Red Bull now going up the inside of Liverpool once again. Will he run a little bit deep? Liverpool fan almost having an inside look up the inside. Kenny will be looking to capitalize here. Let's go on board with him quickly. Getting a little bit of wheel spin out of the small tunnel section. Shadow Moody once again not benefiting from any DRS here. Jay Williams now on the back of the Ferrari driver here as he opens his ERS. DRS closed. He is not looking to make any overtakes. He's looking to go long, going a little bit deep, almost going into the back of the Ferrari. Jay Hartnell coming out of the pits and coming right into the way of Liverpool and Kenny. No damage it looks like there, but the Mercedes driver was forced to cut the corner a little bit to avoid contact. Kenny will now be wanting to follow the Red Bull and get past Liverpool in the Haas. So we see some yellow flags. The Mercedes now falling a little bit behind. DDoS now right on the back of Shadow Moody, waiting for Shadow Moody to make a mistake perhaps. Jay Williams on the back of DDoS. DDoS going a little bit defensive. He'll be wanting to hold that inside line. Jay Williams perhaps getting both of these drivers having to go wide and allow the AlphaTauri through. DDoS going on the the inside of the wow, so many positions being lost here. Shadow Moody being eaten up here, losing 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. What on earth has happened here for Shadow Moody? He's still currently sitting with overtake open. He's going to see himself see a little bit of wheel spin, as well as seeing his overtake being depleted. DDoS losing a little bit of time to the Red Bull ahead. The Red Bull making a brilliant overtake, making 2 positions in a single corner. DDoS seeing his opportunity and capitalizing, using that opportunity to get past Shadow Moody. Kenny himself getting past Shadow Moody, as well as Liverpool fan. This has allowed Craigo to now get right on the back of the Haas driver. Our midfield pack now very, very tight with just over 8 laps remaining. Mercedes driver perhaps on a set of soft tires, getting a purple sector 1. He'll be very, very quick on those tires. Liverpool fan now with another 3-second time penalties. DDoS as well getting another 3-second time penalties. These drivers making quite a few mistakes. Very easy to extend the track limit here in Russia. Very, very quick corners. So we see Krager now open up overtake and open his DRS and overtake to get past this Haas driver, as well as Liverpool up the inside. Kenny up the inside of DDoS, I should say. The Mercedes now going for the cutback, getting ahead of the Haas. The Haas running into the back of the Mercedes, losing a little bit of his end plate. He will be wanting to maybe get into the pit stops. Krago now perhaps running to the back of the Ferrari. No pit stops being made this lap. How old are these tires? Krago now right on the back of the Ferrari. The Ferrari very slow on the exit. Let's see what these tires are looking like. Captain Infinity on some fresh hards. Very interesting strategy from him. Only about 8 laps remaining. Krago going up the inside of the Ferrari driver. The Ferrari driver not having the best of exits. DDoS will not let that go unanswered. Krago on brand new softs. Not allowing DDoS much to do in that situation. With Captain Infinity now getting past Liverpool. Liverpool falling down the order with that wing damage now. Let's quickly go back on board with these front runners. Krago now on softs. He should be getting through this order very quickly. He will be the fastest man on track at the moment. DDoS will be wanting to stay within a second of this group and stay within DRS zone, as well as Captain Infinity behind him. These drivers do look like they might be holding each other up and might be looking to fight, allowing for the likes of DDoS, Captain Infinity, Liverpool fan to get right up on the back as Krago looks up the inside of the Alfa Romeo, cutting him short there. Very clean move. These soft tires with a maximum amount of grip, not allowing these medium compound tire drivers much to argue with. Liverpool fan now deciding to pit, speeding in the pit lane. He'll be wanting to make sure that he at least gets the fastest lap, as DDoS now going up the inside of Bait in the Alfa Romeo. DDoS now up into 6th position, being knocked out in Q1. Let's actually see what our grid order is looking like. DDoS making up 10 positions. Warrior Huntsman in the Renault, with both Renaults being knocked out in Q1, now making up 15 positions with only 8 laps to go. He'll be wanting to maintain that 4-second gap to Jar Williams. Big Balls in the Alfa Romeo now with a 4-second gap, making up 11 positions. Some brilliant strategy coming right from the back of the order. All these drivers being knocked out. Jay Hartnell in the Mercedes with a 1:35.3, now getting the fastest lap of the race. A yellow, as we see Harvey losing or perhaps spinning out in sector 1, causing yellow flags in sector 1. Let's quickly go back on board with this grid order. Krago still yet to overtake Kenny here, right up on the back of the gearbox. Kenny and Jar Williams. This is for the podium positions. Krago now looking up the inside of the Williams driver. He should make it stick. The Williams driver will be wanting to make a cutback, but decides against it. He will have DRS down the straight though, having a very, very poor exit. I don't believe he will be able to recover from that down that straight, or on this lap at least. DDoS being able to pull quite a good gap from the racing point behind him. The racing point on hard compound tire driver, he'll be struggling for any kind of grip. I do believe DDoS will be able to hold this position, but Captain Infinity will want to be mindful of fighting as Bates and Jack FRS The cars behind him will be looking to capitalize on any perhaps mistakes being made. Captain Infinity now getting closer to the back of this Ferrari driver. Captain Infinity now getting a 3-second time penalty, running a little bit wide, pushing a little bit hard to try and get past the Ferrari driver. Racing Point too far at this point, going a little bit deep, almost running into the back of the Ferrari, leaving the brakes as late as possible. Quickly go back on board with the Mercedes, see if he can get quite a good exit down the straight and use that DRS. Will he be able to get in front of this Red Bull before the corner? Having a look up the inside, but the Red Bull closes the door on the Mercedes driver. The Mercedes driver will have DRS though down the straight, but Jay Williams might have DRS. No, he's just outside of DRS for the car in front of him. Craigo now with only about just over, I think, how many laps? 5 laps left. Craigo could be in contention for a race victory if he's able to get past these cars in front of him. Second place is just in front of the Red Bull here. The Red Bull will be happy as he is now in DRS zone himself, and will be able to defend from the Mercedes behind him with a little bit more ease. But these soft tires have a lot more grip and allows the Mercedes driver to have a much better exit as the Red Bull turns in on the Mercedes. The Mercedes now spinning out. The Mercedes now resetting to the track. I'm not too sure if that is allowed. Now back on the racing line, coming up behind Captain Infinity. Captain Infinity perhaps looking to dive up the inside of the Racing Point, decides not to do that. Now getting himself a 3-second time penalty. When it rains, it pours. It's just getting bad to worse for the Mercedes driver. Jay Williams now with no competitors for that third position. He'll be wanting to get ahead of this Renault driver and get himself a good second place position. Kenny, having quite a good race, having a very poor qualifying, has made up for it with quite some brilliant pace throughout the race, seeing himself in fourth, getting some strong positions. DDoS now seeing himself ahead of both Mercedes powered engines. The Captain Infinity now hitting the back of the Ferrari quite a bit there, losing a bit of his wing, I believe. Or was that the Mercedes behind him? Let's go on board with the Mercedes and see if he can allow himself any more overtakes. The Racing Point looking up the inside, hitting the back of the Ferrari. Captain Infinity getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I'm not too sure if that was to do with contact or with maybe cutting the corner. The Mercedes now up the inside of the Racing Point. The Racing Point is not looking to make it easy as he gets the better line, forcing the Mercedes out wide. Jay Williams has now got past the Renault and has already opened up his gap to about 0.8 seconds. He will now put his sights on the Alfa Romeo of Big Balls, now leading the race. But the closest battle right now is the Ferrari and the Racing Point. The Racing Point now once again on the back of the Ferrari, with the Racing Point deciding to save up some ERS. Not a lot of these drivers have a lot of ERS to work with. It would be very smart to save some ERS here and show some composure, a little bit of patience from these drivers, as there is still quite a bit of race left here. They still have time to make their moves, to make them stick, as the Captain Infinity looks up the inside of DDoS. I'm not too sure. I do believe DDoS will get DRS. So plenty of ERS. Captain Infinity, no ERS for him, making it very hard for him to defend the Ferrari at this point. Captain Infinity looking to go for a dive bomb, pushing the Ferrari very wide, very audacious dive from the Racing Point. Now seeing himself lose out to the Mercedes, struggling on those hard compound tires perhaps. Craigo, how old are his tires? Let's actually see if we can 6-lap old tires. He will start to see those softs losing a little bit of their pace right about the next lap, I believe, depending on how smooth he has been. But he did spin earlier, seeing contact with the Red Bull of Williams. Those soft tires might be a little bit worn as these drivers look to hunt down the Ferrari. A brilliant drive from these drivers so far, not having the best of qualifying and now capitalizing. DDoS on 17-lap old hards, defending 6-lap old softs. Very, very difficult task. We will stay on board and see what these drivers are able to do. As we see a little bit of action from behind, Jack FRS now on the back of a Bait 1990 in the Alfa Romeo. Will the Racing Point have a look up? Let's actually go back to that order in front of us as we see Craigo now looking to get in DRS of DDoS on the penultimate lap. Only one more lap to one lap after this one. A little bit of gap starting to form, some strong pace being showed on the old mediums. Craigo struggling on those new softs, perhaps seeing a little bit of tyre wear, as well as having to deal with a bit of wing damage as he is missing his left front wing end plate. Captain Infinity, does he have any damage? No, his front wing is perfectly fine, being able to carry a lot more speed into the corners. Jack FRS now right on the back of the Alfa Romeo. Will he be able to make a move into the corner, going for a dive, leaving plenty of room here? Very, very clean driving from these two drivers. Looking to go around the outside, making it stick. A lot more grip on that outside. Captain Infinity getting another 3-second time penalties. A lot of time penalties being formed by all this close driving. I do believe it's extending track limits though. As we see another one. The Racing Point going very, very deep. Perhaps losing a little bit of grip on those medium, on those hard compound tires, I should say. Big Balls now crossing the line for his final lap, pulling 7 seconds. He should see himself with his first victory of the season. I do believe, I haven't commentated for all the races, I do apologize if that is not correct, but a brilliant race from him. He'll be looking to win nonetheless. DDoS allowing himself quite a good gap from Craigo. Craigo will now be looking to battle Captain Infinity for that 6th position. Both getting DRS. Very, very difficult for this hard compound tire of Captain Infinity. As we now see Bait looking, wanting to take that position back from Jack FRS. Captain Infinity running out of time here, as well as Craigo. He'll be wanting to catch right up onto the Ferrari. Racing Point running a little bit wide. Struggling, definitely quite a bit of understeer from the Racing Point. As we see Shadow Moody now on the back of Killer 94J. I believe he was trying to make a move there. Let's quickly go back. I apologize for all the quick changes. Captain Infinity now right on the back of Craigo. Craigo now opens up his DRS. Unable to make the move stick. As we go on board with the Alfa Romeo as he comes around the final corner. He will take maximum points here in Russia, and he wins. Great race from Big Balls in the Alfa Romeo, taking some brilliant points. Williams in the Red Bull, barring any penalties, should see himself in 2nd. Warrior Huntsman out in Q1, now taking provisional 3rd. Kenny in 4th. DDoS in 5th. A brilliant race from the Ferrari driver, losing out to these drivers. Craigo now taking 5th. Captain Infinity 6th. DDoS now all the way down into 10th position, losing out to all the time penalties. I'll run you through the grid order once everything is settled. Big Ben. How many position changes? Some brilliant racing all round. I had to commentate quite excitingly for the majority of that race. Some brilliant racing. As you see Anthony Stan in the Ferrari now going up into 4th position with all those penalties. A great race, some good points for Ferrari. as I see Harvey as he enters Sector 3. He will be our final driver to cross the line. Our championship leader, Sadistic, unable to get any points after that unfortunate incident after the safety car. Big Ben also missing out on some valuable points. Shadow Moody looking very, very promising to score some points himself. Also missing out on some valuable points. Our driver of the day, Kenny, 25, have to agree with Cody's there, coming all the way from a poor qualifying to get himself right up there and get some very strong and valuable points. Well done to our race winner, Big Balls in the Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo with only 12 points in the constructors. They will be very happy, and a very, very good recovery drive, I have to say, from the Renault driver. Both Renault drivers being knocked out in Q1. Some brilliant driving from the Renault driver, it must be said. Stretching those mediums right up until the end. Your final grid order looks with Big Balls taking maximum points of 25, or yes, taking 25 points here with the lead, starting in 12th. A brilliant race from him. Williams in the Red Bull in second, Warrior Huntsman in the Renault in third, Anthony Stan in the Ferrari, getting some great points for Ferrari with the DDoS, losing out with quite a few positions. 24-second penalty from him. Kenny 25 in the Williams in 5th, Jack FRS in the Racing Point in 6th, Craigo in the Mercedes in 7th, Bate in the Alfa Romeo Bate in 8th, Captain Infinity in 9th, DDoS in 10th to round off your top 10. Some great moves with the likes of Kenny from 19th, Warrior Huntsman from 17th, and Big Balls from 12th, making some good position, some strong points. This is going to throw the championship up in the air and allow for even more drivers to be competing for the top spot. I do apologize for my mic being muted earlier. A lot of action and a very exciting race. Well done to all the drivers. Unlucky to a few. They'll be looking to improve in the next race. I want to thank Full Throttle Racing for having me commentate, and I want to thank you at home for watching and supporting the stream. I'm Dosino, and thank you.